mongoose defeats a snake, it makes sense. The snake chose the wrong opponent. Mongooses are known for their lightning-fast reactions, agility, and develop skills that enable them to hunt venomous snakes purposefully. A mongoose can anticipate the direction of a snake's attack by observing its body position. Moreover, it can twist in midair to avoid meeting the reptile's fangs by just a hair's breadth, to sink its sharp teeth directly into the snake's neck or another vulnerable part. Not every mongoose snake encounter ends with the mammal's victory, but when a mongoose returns to its den with a cobra in its jaws, this isn't actually surprising at all. What truly shocking is when a venomous snake is defeated by an insect. Despite being in vastly different weight classes, the reptile should dispatch any insect as easily as a seasoned bull would deal with a timid little jackal. The snake is about 50 times heavier and is armed with jaws. One bite for the insect works like the ultimate skill of your favorite Dota 2 hero. The enemy stands no chance, except when a snake is facing a praying mantis. This is the only insect that can defeat this reptile. Furthermore, it even hunts and attacks snakes first. This snake isn't the largest ever, but for a mantis to attack it is like if you try taking on a polar bear and win with your bare hands. This is a real feat. The insect uses camouflage and its scythe-like forelimbs. The snake moves peacefully in search of food. It's quite young, so it preys on insects actively sought after. However, this encounter will not be pleasant for the snake. When the snake is within striking distance, the mantis literally shoots its limbs and grabs the opponent in a way that the snake can neither escape nor use its jaws. Once again, the absence of limbs becomes a disadvantage for the snake. However, occasionally, praying mantises also hunt small lizards, so the success of the insect is hardly due to the lack of the opponent's paws. It's more about the tremendous strength of their gripping limbs. The mantis, venomless but armed with powerful jaws, finishes off its prey. Modern scientists agree that dinosaurs didn't really go extinct. Not all of them, at least. Most species did vanish from the face of the Earth about 65 to 62 million years ago, but not really without a trace. Since the direct descendants of dinosaurs are birds. Yeah, you heard me correctly. The swan that impresses you with its beauty during your last park stroll is, in fact, a distant relative of the Tyrannosaurus. A very, very distant relative. But some birds clearly retained much more from their formidable ancestors than meets the eye. You'll be shocked, but it's not eagles or falcons. It's chickens. Don't believe me? Well, this snake also thought it was facing a defenseless little bird. But in the chest of this chicken beats the heart of an ancient monster. And for the protection of its offspring, the chicken demonstrated this. Just a moment ago, it was peacefully roaming the yard. But when it noticed the cobra, the chicken underwent a transformation that would scare the Incredible Hulk. The chicken raised its feathers and went on the offensive first. It attacked the snake with its feet and beak. This demonstrates the bravery of the feathered warrior, as the swift snake could have bitten the opponent's neck. But no strike found its mark, and the bird managed to fend off its chicks. If you think this story is unique, then you would be mistaken. In distant villages of Southeast Asia, domestic fowl often have to fend for themselves against attacks from the most formidable venomous reptiles. Even if the snake has the advantage of battle terrain, it doesn't guarantee victory against the seemingly ordinary chicken. Just like in this case when a huge cobra slithered into the coop. The chicken found itself in a tight corner, nowhere to retreat, almost no room for maneuvering. But it has a dozen chicks relying on it. For the chicken, this is sufficient motivation to transform from a peaceful egg layer into the Terminator. Pay attention to this combat mastery. If there were hand-to-hand combat courses for birds, this chicken would be the instructor. Every move is calculated. The bird uses its feathers to distract the snake and appear larger. It skillfully keeps the chicks away from the predator while continuously attacking again and again. Most of the blows are delivered by the bird's strong legs. Its claws might not be as big as a falcon's, but they are sharp, and the strikes deal devastating damage to the snake. The cobra's in shock. One of its bites could stop not only a horse's heart, but an elephant's. However, the chicken doesn't give it a chance to inject its venom. It attacks from unexpected angles, swoops low to be on the other side, and keeps on pecking. The chicken's beak poses as much threat to the snake as its claws. Initially, the snake crawls like a hunter, low to the ground. But meeting such resistance, it spreads its hood. This means that the cobra has switched to defense mode, but it's too late. It's not the chicken that fell into a trap in a tight corner here. It's the snake now facing an impossible situation. A bit more, and the chicken will simply peck it to death. A disgrace for such a formidable predator. In the end, the bird successfully defended its offspring. A single chicken can successfully fend off even multiple snakes. This battle turned into a veritable siege, where the chicken became a living fortress for its chicks. Such loyalty to offspring is pretty admirable, wouldn't you agree? To be fair, it's worth noting that not only chickens are capable of such feats in defense of their offspring. This turkey, as well, has clearly mastered self-defense tactics for birds. Just look at how adeptly it handles the snake. The key is having a family behind the fighter that can cover it and, if necessary, help defeat the venomous reptile. The bird, not of the most outstanding size, but its sharp, short beak is capable of dealing critical damage to the reptile, especially considering how accurately the turkey wields it. It seems like this cat decided to provide worthy competition to the birds. It noticed the approach of a dangerous enemy early enough to step back and leap out of the box. Still, the cat chose to fight. Perhaps her kittens are in there, and there's neither time nor opportunity to move them. Surprisingly, the cat opted for the only correct tactic. To minimize the risk of getting bitten, she laid a real siege and used the box's walls to block the snake's path. Then, with powerful claw strikes, the cat knocked the snake down. The cat's blows were so swift that the snake had no chance to catch her with its venomous fangs. It seems that during the paw strike, it turned into a blurred spot. It's impossible to properly see it without slow motion. In the end, this mother managed to save her little ones. If you want to see other cases where parents committed true feats for their offspring, then don't forget to write about it in the comments section underneath this video. Bald eagles are one of the best warriors among all birds. They are not only very strong, but also like to fight with other clawed birds. Eagles are aggressive, bold, violently pounce on competitors, and it seems sometimes they do not need a reason at all to attack another predator. It would seem that such a mighty and brave bird can feel safe anywhere. Moreover, in its own huge nest, arranged so high on the top of the tree that it is even difficult to get up there. But the bald eagle clearly underestimated its enemy, the huge owl. This nocturnal predator is so brave and desperate that it can be the first to attack an eagle right at home. Perhaps this is revenge. Day and night, birds of prey are direct rivals, so they often attack each other. Judging by the behavior of the owl, this eagle clearly caused her some problems. How else are you supposed to explain the purposefulness and aggression with which the owl searches for and then promptly attacks the enemy? The bald eagle has excellent fighting skills with other birds of prey, even without acceleration and without using flight. Few eagles are able to fight so coolly using only their claws and beak. except the eagle didn't know who he was messing with. Although a daytime predator can spot prey at an altitude of several miles, see the reflections of fish scales in the glare of the water, react to any enemy movement with lightning speed, all these superpowers disappear in the dark. Because the eagle's eyes have no night vision mode at all. According to some reports, this bird, oddly enough, at night he sees worse than a man. That's when the owl's finest hour begins. She attacks the eagle and easily dodges its retaliatory attacks, which the bird is forced to carry out almost blindly. But the owl perfectly sees the weak points of the enemy, knows where to hit it, and mercilessly attacks its enemy. As a result, the owl just threw the eagle out of its own nest. If the eagle had not managed to catch its claws on the lower branches at the very last moment, it would have collapsed to the ground. This time, the owls are already defending their home from the invasion of one of the daytime predators. This falcon flew into the nest, not understanding who it was dealing with. Not only that, even one owl can give him a serious rebuttal, so there were also two of them. Breaking into their home was a huge mistake. The most curious thing is how the birds behaved. The owls attacked the enemy ruthlessly and aggressively, but at the same time they acted very carefully so as not to damage the chicks, not to allow the enemy to injure themselves, and not to touch each other. It's pretty smart, isn't it? But that's not all. Pay attention that most of the time the owls just kept the opponent in the corner. They pressed the insolent occupier to the fence and forcefully squeezed its paws. Cautious but painful attacks of owls alternated with real intimidation. Just look at how shocked the falcon is. He did not expect that instead of defenseless chicks of the enemy, he would receive both adult birds as enemies. And even in a confined space where there is no sense from the speed of a daytime predator. The grip strength of owls is enormous, and their sickle-shaped claws, although inferior to the weapons of some golden eagles, are still stronger and sharper than that of this falcon. It's hard to say what exactly was the main motivation of the owls, but it seems that they are mocking its enemy, intimidating him, and deliberately bringing him to the hysteria so that he remembers this for the rest of his life. Breaking into someone else's home is a very bad idea. Interestingly enough, after enjoying the helplessness of the enemy, his fear and defeat, the owls let him go. And as a result, all the birds remain alive, but the falcon will never forget this lesson. Any top of the coolest fighters of the animal world will be incomplete without, no, not a lion and not a bear, but of course these are brave fighters. They fight with other predators and can single-handedly attack herbivores 3 to 4 times larger than themselves. It seems who could be cooler? The answer is the goose. Just look at how this bird, weighing as much as a domestic cat, chases a gorilla, which is about 15 times more massive. The huge primate wandered around his enclosure like the owner of the grounds, solidly, calmly, and confidently. It seems that he is trying to assert himself when he wants to drive away a goose that has accidentally flown in, and this was a big mistake. The bird reacts instantly. It perceives any sideways glance in its direction as an invitation to a fight. And this is a real holiday for the goose. The bird does not care how huge and strong the opponent is. It attacks by spreading its wings and making a frightening hiss, and the gorilla is shocked by such courage. It could have just crushed the bird with one crushing blow of its fist, but instead the primate runs away in panic. And the goose is not happy. It wants to fight. And it chases the helpless giant monkey, which one-on-one can give battle to any heavy predator. Just not an ordinary goose, who doesn't even take the enemy seriously and mocks him. The goose doesn't run away, doesn't try to be higher than the enemy. He's attacking him right from the ground. After such humiliation, the role of the leader of the gorilla clan does not shine on this primate. If you think this is the only such case, you are mistaken. Here, a goose attacks an entire herd of ungulates. The weight of each individual cow is approaching half a ton. But although the enemy is almost 100 times larger, more massive, and almost invulnerable to goose attacks, he gives in to the brave bird. The funniest thing is how cows try to butt heads with a bird without making any effort to the end. That is, they only touch the goose with their heads, but do not trample it, do not ram it. Otherwise, they would understand that the resistance of the feathered aggressor is easy to break. But instead of decisive actions, cows choose to tread on the spot. Here, one of them pretends to rush at the enemy, but when the goose does not flinch, the cow immediately retreats. It is unclear whether the goose has figured out the bluff of its opponents or he is really as cool as the rock. What do you think? Just to look at how the cows are trampling and causing clouds of dust, while the goose behaves calmly and instantly attacks as soon as he sees that his enemies are emboldened. And the ungulates are close to panic. Goose bites are unpleasant, but they cannot pose a threat to the life or health of such large creatures. They do not understand their advantage and are afraid of a much less powerful animal only because it demonstrates reinforced concrete confidence in its abilities. Have you ever experienced similar cases, but already in communication with people, when self-confidence saved you in seemingly hopeless situations? If yes, then share your story in the comments. When they talk about the most dangerous and cool birds, they usually mean eagles, falcons, and sometimes owls. Of course, this is logical. Powerful curved claws and beaks are really able to cope with serious prey. Eagles can hunt large ungulates like mountain sheep. Falcons accelerate to the speed of a bullet, and with one blow can break the victim's neck, even if it is twice as large as the predator. Owls are able to fly silently, so at night their hunting for helpless prey is more like a trip to the supermarket, where a feathered predator simply collects food that cannot fight back. But there are other cool birds that are underestimated in vain. For example, herons. These shorebirds live on different continents and have become quite successful predators in their habitat. They prepare to settle closer to reservoirs. Although most of them do not have the habit of swimming in water for a long time, like ducks or geese, herons feel great in shallow water, as well as at shallow depths. With strong clawed legs, they also have mighty wings, allowing herons to take off almost instantly if necessary. They are thin-legged, with an elongated neck, beautiful plumage that casts a blue, long, straight beak. In general, it seems that these birds are just part of the swamp fauna, which are capable of catching a maximum of large frogs. And it's not like that. Many animals underestimate the blue heron and pay the highest price for its mistake. For example, this eagle tried to take away a prey from a heron, a newly caught fish. Another bird, at the mere appearance of a large daytime predator, would immediately retreat, but not a heron. It immediately rebuffed the eagle. It spread its huge wings, and the heron attacked the robber and almost deprived him of its eyes. In general, the main weapon of the heron is its sharp, straight beak, which acts like a sword. The bird twists its neck and then abruptly straightens it and directs a fairly strong blow at the target. All its power is concentrated on the tip, which makes the penetrating force of the heron's beak greater than the force of the beak of a large eagle. In addition, experience also plays a big role. Herons hunt agile and fast prey, for example. They punch swimming fish with their beak, grab fast amphibians and reptiles. So it is not surprising that this large bird can, for example, instantly deal with an adult duck. For her, the heron was just another neighbor that the duck inadvertently let get too close. The result is that the heron inflicted critical damage to the victim in a couple of blows, and is already preparing to swallow such a satisfying prey. Herons also hunt dangerous and large reptiles like venomous snakes that live in swamps and near the shores of reservoirs. A variety of vipers can be a serious danger because the bite of such a snake is a guaranteed cardiac arrest for the bird. But these reptiles clearly underestimated the speed of the impact of the heron's beak. Interestingly enough, the way the bird attacks the enemy is quite similarly to the attack of the snakes themselves. Before throwing, you need to twist your neck to accumulate maximum energy in the muscles and shoot the main weapon forward. As you can see, the speed of the beak shot from a heron is often higher than the speed of a snake's throw. The duels between two herons also looks brutal. Two elegant birds try to keep their balance with the help of their wings, and exchange crushing, stabbing blows with their beaks, crowd each other, and violently attack. For such duels, they often choose places with a shaky and unstable surface, for example, viscous mud on the shore, a tangle of thin branches of bushes, shallow water. Every bird wants to take advantage of the place 100%, so it tries to throw the enemy off the branches, make him get bogged down in a swamp, or even drown. After a powerful stabbing blow, the heron can bite the enemy. The strength of the bird's grip is unexpectedly great, and most importantly, such a bite causes terrible pain to the victim. In addition, herons during a flight with their own kind often fly up to a low altitude to exchange sharp, quick blows of their claws. The claws, although short, are sharp, and most importantly, the heron's legs are very strong, so each hit on the enemy is like a blow with a small hammer. But such duels not only allow the birds to find out who will defend this or that reservoir, but also to train their fighting skills. Long observations have shown that the heron menu is one of the most diverse among birds. Although most of the time they leisurely walk through shallow water in search of fish and other animals in the water, this is just a way to lull the attention of potential prey. What kind of prey? Yeah, any kind. A heron can attack anything that moves, so long as the prey can be swallowed whole. Rodents often do not see a serious threat in a bird slowly wandering through the swamp. And the heron catches and eats rats, mice, and other small animals without any problems. For example, a heron can ruin a rabbit den. These little fuzzy creatures look so cute, don't they? But not for the heron. In the opinion of this feathered omnivorous monster, small rabbits are more of an appetizing snack than good-natured neighbors in their habitat. If there is already a cat in the house, and the owners also have a bird, of course, there are concerns whether such pets will be able to get along. Or will the cat just look at the parrot just as prey? Well, as you can see, this little predator has clearly messed with the wrong bird. The parrot opens up the box and honestly just wants to meet and make friends with the cat. And when he gets hit on the beak, he closes the box. It's simple. A large parrot is a strong and intelligent enough bird to take care of itself. Moreover, the way they show cats that it is better not to conflict with them looks pretty funny. Here, the acquaintance clearly did not work out. The cat almost knocked the parrot off the sofa with a couple of heavy blows. But instead of trying to hide from the predator with the help of its wings, the parrot goes into close combat. He attacks the offender himself and shows the cat that he demands respect for himself. But the coolest of all, of course, is this parrot. He decided to establish contact with his neighbors not by force, but thanks to his communication skills. Although this parrot is quite large and can even be dangerous for one cat due to its large and powerful beak, here the numerical advantage is not on the side of the feathered ones. It understands this and apparently is trying to negotiate. The cats are shocked. Interestingly enough, according to some sources, meowing is not at all the native language of cats that purr or hiss in the wild, and they just learn to meow just for us to attract our attention. It turns out that the parrot copies sounds intended for humans to communicate with animals with their help. Of course, the parrot is not aware of the confusion it caused. It just uses its talent for an onomatopoeia to avoid conflict. But can you imagine just how shocked these cats were? But the unexpected move gave its results. They didn't even try to attack the parrot and just sort of look at it with some kind of admiration. It seems that a little bit more, and they will be accepting the feathered one into their family.